Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Speak Smart podcast. Today, we're going to dive into the world of money. We're going to unpack some key terms and tips that'll help you navigate all kinds of everyday money talk in English. It's kind of like a financial literacy crash course, from like budgeting basics to some pretty savvy spending strategies.
You know, it's really interesting. Even if you're already pretty comfortable with all the financial concepts in your native language, there are still nuances to how we talk about money specifically in English.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not just, defining words here, but we're going to really get into how to use them naturally in conversation. So by the end of this deep dive, you'll not only understand all these terms, but you'll actually be able to confidently talk about, your own spending habits, your savings goals, and maybe even impress your friends a little bit with all your newfound financial fluency.
The goal is to really empower you so that you feel totally comfortable talking about money, whether it's negotiating a salary, discussing a budget with a roommate, or just understanding financial news articles a little bit better.
Okay, let's start with some of the foundational terms. We hear words like spending, saving, earning, borrowing, vonging. But how can we actually use those in real conversations?
Okay, so imagine you're chatting with a coworker about your weekend plans. You could say something like, I'm trying to save for a vacation, so I'm limiting my spending this month.
Perfect example. Saving and spending totally fit naturally right into a casual conversation. Now, what about earning and borrowing?
All right, let's say you're thinking about taking a class to, boost your skills. You might say, I'm thinking about borrowing money to pay for this course, hoping it will help me earn a promotion at work.
See, those everyday examples make these terms so much clearer. All right, let's level up our vocabulary a little bit. We encounter the words price and cost constantly. But are they really interchangeable?
Not always. So while price is that specific amount you pay for something, like a price tag on those new headphones you've been eyeing, cost can actually have a broader meaning.
So the cost could include things like shipping fees, or even the time you spent researching to get the best deal. So it's about more than just the money itself.
Exactly. Cost can also refer to those non-monetary factors. For instance, the cost of taking on a new project at work might mean working late nights and missing out on social events.
This is where things get really interesting. It's about weighing the potential benefits against that cost, whether it's money, time, or something else entirely.
And speaking of weighing options, how often do you find yourself debating between something cheap and something expensive?
All the time. But sometimes cheap feels like you're compromising on quality.
Right, and that's the nuance of these words. Expensive doesn't always mean better, and cheap doesn't always mean bad. It's all about understanding the value you're getting for your money.
This reminds me of how important budgeting is. It's about making sure that all those cheap purchases don't totally derail our bigger financial goals, right?
Absolutely. Budgeting is really the foundation of managing your finances effectively. It's like creating a roadmap for your money.
It helps you visualize where your money is going and make sure it's actually aligned with your goals. I like to think of a budget as a tool for making conscious choices about how I spend and save.
I love that. And a budget can also help you distinguish between your needs and your wants. Rent and groceries, those are needs. That new gadget you've been wanting, well, that might be more of a want.
Right, and prioritizing those needs over wants can really help us avoid overspending. Speaking of which, what are some common pitfalls people should watch out for?
One common trap is impulse buying. Those unplanned purchases that can really throw a wrench in your budget. Recognizing what triggers those impulse buys for you, like a tempting sale or that fear of missing out, that can help us make more conscious choices.
It's like we're building a defense against those marketing tactics that really try to prey on our emotions.
Exactly. And if we do find ourselves overspending, that's where understanding terms like debt and interest becomes super crucial.
Right. Debt is essentially money we owe to someone else, and interest is the price we pay for borrowing that money.
Right. And the higher that interest rate, the more expensive that debt actually becomes over time. That's why it's so important to manage debt carefully and really understand the terms of any loans or credit card agreements.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from basic spending and saving to navigating debt. But what if we're struggling to just make ends meet?
Yeah, making ends meet means having enough money to cover all of your essential expenses, and it can be a real challenge, especially with, a fluctuating economy.
It's a good reminder that even with careful budgeting, those unexpected expenses can pop up.
Absolutely. That's why having an emergency fund is so important. It's like having a financial safety net for all those unexpected life events.
It can really help reduce that financial stress. and prevent us from going even further into debt when those unexpected costs come up.
This all brings us to the crucial concept of living within your means. It's about aligning your spending with your actual income and avoiding unnecessary debt.
So instead of constantly chasing that next paycheck, we're creating a sustainable financial foundation. This has been a fantastic overview of all these terms and concepts. Now that we've laid the groundwork, let's shift gears and talk about building wealth in part 2 of this deep dive.
Welcome back to the Speak Smart podcast. Now that we've got a good handle on the basics of money talk, let's see how we can make our money work harder for us through saving and investing.
Ooh, yeah. This is where things get exciting. We talked about saving a little bit earlier, but what are some strategies to make saving more effective? And how is it different from investing?
Okay, so imagine you have a fruit tree. Saving is like carefully picking the fruit and storing it away for later, but investing is more like planting more seeds to grow even more trees.
I love that analogy. So saving is about preserving what we have and investing is about growing it. But investing comes with risks, right?
Absolutely. Every investment has some level of risk, which is the possibility of losing some or all of your money.
Okay, so how can we as Speak Smart listeners learn to assess that risk and make, informed investment decisions?
One key concept is diversification. You know the old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Instead of investing all your money in one stock, you spread it across different asset classes, like stocks, bonds, real estate, even things like art or collectibles.
So if one investment takes a dip, the others can kind of cushion the blow. I like to think of it as building a financial safety net.
Yeah.
But for our investments.
Exactly. And remember our conversation about emergency funds. That's a form of saving where you prioritize immediate access over potential growth.
Right. It's about having that cash cushion for those unexpected life events. So how do interest rates play into all of this? We talked about interest in terms of borrowing, but how does it work with saving and investing?
Think of interest as the reward you get for letting someone else use your money. With savings accounts, banks pay you interest for keeping your money with them.
And with investments, interest can come in the form of dividends from stocks or interest payments from bonds. So the higher the interest rate, the more money grows, right?
Generally, yes. But higher interest rates often come with higher risks. It's a balancing act between maximizing returns and managing those potential losses.
And then there's this thing called compound interest. I've heard it described as like the eighth wonder of the world.
It's pretty amazing. Compound interest is that snowball effect of earning interest on your initial investment, plus any accumulated interest. Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill getting bigger and bigger as it collects more snow. That's compound interest at work.
So the earlier we start saving and investing, the more time that snowball has to grow.
Exactly. Time is your greatest ally when it comes to compound interest. Even small amounts invested consistently over time can grow significantly.
Okay, so we're motivated to start early, but where do we even begin? What are some practical steps to get started with saving and investing?
Well, first, set clear financial goals. Whether it's saving for a down payment on a house, a dream vacation, or a comfortable retirement, having specific goals gives you a target to aim for.
It's like having a destination in mind when you set out on a journey. Goals provide direction and motivation.
Exactly. Next, create a budget and prioritize saving. Remember that paying yourself first concept we talked about earlier. Make saving a non-negotiable part of your financial routine.
Like treating your future self as a VIP. Automate those savings transfers and watch your nest egg grow steadily over time.
I love it. And don't underestimate the power of those small, consistent contributions. Even if you can only spare a small amount each month, the magic of compound interest will do its work.
Okay, so we've set our goals, we're diligently saving. Now, how do we navigate the world of investing? It can feel a little intimidating for beginners.
Start by doing your research. Learn about different investment options. There are tons of resources available, online books, even podcasts like this one.
And remember, you don't have to go it alone. There are financial advisors who can provide personalized guidance based on your individual goals and risk tolerance.
Right. Think of a financial advisor as a coach, someone who can help you develop a game plan and make those informed decisions.
Speaking of game plans, what are some key strategies to keep in mind when building an investment portfolio?
Diversification is key, as we discussed earlier. Spread your investments across different asset classes to reduce your overall risk.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's about building a resilient portfolio that can weather those market fluctuations.
Exactly. Also remember that investing is a long-term game. Avoid making impulsive decisions based on short-term market movements.
Ride out those waves and focus on the bigger picture. Patience is definitely a virtue, especially in the world of investing.
Absolutely. And most importantly, keep learning and stay informed. The financial landscape is constantly evolving, so it's crucial to stay up to date and adapt your strategies accordingly.
This is all fantastic advice. It's encouraging to know that even with modest means, we can take steps to build a secure financial future. In the final part of this deep dive, we'll focus on practical tips for managing our spending wisely. Welcome back to Speak Smart. We've covered saving and investing, but now it's time to talk about the flip side, spending wisely. After all, what's the point of earning and growing our money if we don't know how to spend it effectively?
Right. It's not just about cutting back. It's about making those informed decisions that really align with our values and goals.
Exactly. So let's dive into some practical strategies to make our money go further. We hear a lot about comparison shopping. Is that really as impactful as they say?
It really is. Whether you're buying groceries, electronics, clothes, or even larger purchases like a car, comparing prices from different retailers can save you a significant amount of money.
Yeah, I've been surprised by how much prices can vary for the exact same product. It's like a little treasure hunt finding the best deal.
And don't forget about all the online tools and browser extensions. That can help you compare prices and even find coupons automatically. Technology can be a great ally in the quest for savings.
Speaking of online tools, what about all those subscription services we all seem to accumulate?
Oh yeah, it's so easy to sign up for streaming services, meal kits, software subscriptions, and then completely forget about them. Regularly reviewing your subscriptions and canceling the ones you don't actually use can really free up a surprising amount of cash flow each month.
It's like a little mini financial detox. Out with the old unused subscriptions, in with more money for things we truly value.
I love that. And sometimes delaying a purchase can be the smartest spending strategy of all.
You mean resisting those impulse buys? I know that feeling of wanting something right now, but maybe waiting a bit can help us make more rational decisions.
Exactly. Give yourself a cooling off period, like 24 hours or even a week before making a big purchase. You might realize you don't actually need it, or you might even find a better deal in the meantime.
It's like taking a pause to check in with ourselves and make sure our spending is aligned with our long-term goals.
And speaking of aligning our spending with your values, have you ever considered exploring secondhand shopping?
I've heard it's a great way to save money and be more eco-conscious.
It is. You can find amazing deals on clothes, furniture, books, even electronics, at thrift stores, consignment shops, online marketplaces. It's a treasure trove of unique finds and budget-friendly options.
It's like giving those items a second life, which is great for the planet and our wallets.
Right. And remember, saving money doesn't have to mean sacrificing enjoyment. There are so many free or low-cost activities that can enrich our lives.
Like exploring local parks, attending free community events, borrowing books from the library, or learning new skills online. It's about being creative and resourceful with our time and money.
Exactly. And let's not forget those simple things like cooking at home more often.
Oh yeah, it's amazing how much money we can save by preparing our own meals instead of, eating out or ordering takeout all the time.
Not to mention the health benefits. Cooking at home lets you control the ingredients and portion sizes. So it's a win-win for your wallet and your well-being.
So we've covered a range of tips here, from comparison shopping and subscription audits to embracing secondhand shopping and home-cooked meals. What's the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the most important message is that even small adjustments to our spending habits can have a significant impact over time.
It's not about deprivation. It's about being mindful of our choices and finding ways to save money without sacrificing the things that matter most to us.
Absolutely. It's all about creating a sustainable lifestyle that supports both our financial goals and our overall well-being.
To wrap up this deep dive into the language of money, we've explored everything from basic vocabulary to advanced investing strategies, and now we've armed you with practical tips for spending wisely.
We've demystified financial jargon, highlighted the importance of budgeting and goal setting, and explored the exciting world of saving and investing.
Most importantly, we hope this deep dive has empowered you to feel more confident and fluent in the language of money.
Remember, financial literacy is a lifelong journey. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep building a brighter financial future.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into all things money. We hope you found it insightful and empowering.
Until next time, happy saving, smart spending. And may your financial journey be filled with success.
Thank you for listening to the Speak Smart podcast.